Hey guys, Paul here. Welcome back to the channel. So I have tested so many instrument cluster displays before, both the new Model Y and the older Model Y, even older Model 3 and the new Model 3 Highlands too. But none of the display let you customize what you see and the functions on the display at all. Today I have something new to share with you. This is Enhance Sexy Dash. This is the first display that lets you even choose the location where you want to place the dash. So this is a fully customizable instrument cluster display from Enhance. You can choose to install on the dash just like this, just like regular HUD unit. Or you can actually install right in front of the steering wheel too, just however you prefer to install your display. Not only that, you can actually customize the look of the display. You can actually customize the function of the display. And this display has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, blind spot warning, autopilot warning, and so many more functions, much more than any other displays that I have tested before. So in today's video, I'll share with you what comes in the box and then step by step, really easy installation, and then we'll test it out and see how it works and how it looks in the new Model Y Juniper. Now let's go. Before we check out what comes in the box, let's check out the box itself first. It's always really nice package and well made. You can tell just by the quality of the packaging outside. Now let's see what comes in the box of this brand new Sexy Dash from Enhance for the new Model Y Juniper. And here what came in the box. Let's take a closer look. So let's check out the actual display first. So this is 9.6 inch display. If you follow my channel, you probably found this really familiar with the previous display that I have tested. The display is really similar. They kept the display but changed everything else on the inside, of course. The processors, Bluetooth module on the inside the display, and this is the back of the display. It's matte black with really cool sexy logo indentation in the back. The reason they did it matte black because when you put the display on the dash right next to the windshield, it doesn't create that reflection if it's like a shiny surface, but this one should not create a disturbing reflection from the display. And this is an very early pre-production unit, so hopefully there's no issue while we test the display, but it doesn't have some functions, but it should have most of the function that we can test out the display. And it also came with a charging cable, so this is fully wireless display. You do not have to connect the display to the OBD port, because the OBD port will connect to this wire harness and the power. Also, this wire harness will connect to the commander. So this is the Gen 2 commander for Enhanced products. This one, same one that connects to 60 buttons and the 60 knob. So if you do already have Gen 2 Enhanced commander, you just buy just get the display by itself, and this is the base of the display. So the back of the display has really strong magnet in the back, so you can install the base either on the top of the dash right by the windshield, I'll show you later in the video, or in front of the steering wheel. However you want to install it, however you prefer it. But if you do install in front of the steering wheel, because it sits right in front of the air vent, you might lose some of the airflow for the driver. And the base can change the angle. Let me show you real quick. So when you attach the display to the base, has really strong magnet. When you do install it in front of the steering wheel, you would have to kind of angle the display up like this, so you can see it on the right angle. But when you do install it on the dash, which is further away, you would have to kind of angle it down like this, so it's straight angle, so you can see the display without going up too high. So after you get the right angle for your display, you can use the Allen key that came in the package and then tighten it up to this screw right here. And this package came with the wipe, also extra 3M double-sided tape for your base, and there's a little cap. You can put this cap on over the screw right here after you're done fixing the angle that you prefer. Alright, now we saw everything that came in the package. Let me show you where you can get this new sexy dash for your new Model Y Juniper. You can get this new sexy dash from Enhance or enhauto.com, and this new sexy dash actually compatible with both old and newer car like older Model Y and new Model Y Juniper, older Model 3 and the new Model 3 Highland. If you are interested, you can actually get a special 20% off with the pre-order, and with even more discount. If you use my special discount code TC, you will get another 10% off on top of that. And Enhance offer a lot of awesome products like sexy strip, sexy knob, sexy buttons, or sexy stocks for the new Model 3 Highland, or you can just get a really smart commander for your car. And right now, let's go and install it in the new Model Y Juniper. Let's start with the installation. First thing first, you have to remove the panels first. So we'll be removing first the rubber gasket or the rubber seal on the door seal. These are really easy to remove. There's no glue underneath it, as you can see. Next, let's remove the panel on the top or next to the dashboard. Just slowly remove it. Now this panel is removed. As you can see, they're all clips, no screw at all. Really similar to the one on the Model 3 Highland. So that remove this locking clip for the door seal panel. Let's use one of the plastic trim removal tool. It came with one, but I usually have the whole set with me. I got from Amazon.com. I'll put the link on the bottom of the video, and that's it. So this one came loose. Keep the clip, and then now you can pull it out and carefully remove this piece. So again, no screw, just a whole bunch of clips underneath. Just do it slowly and carefully. After that, you should be able to remove this whole panel. Now that all the panels are removed, we have the full access to the power connector, which is this one on the outside, white color, and also OBD port, just this one right here. This is open port, you can just plug it in. And before we disconnect the power, I highly recommend to turn off the power of the car first. So just go to the control, which is the main menu right here, and then safety, scroll all the way down, power off. So now the car is off. We are now safe to unplug and plug in the OBD port. So as I mentioned before, the OBD port is open, so you can just plug it right in. Here you go. And it has this pass-through female OBD at the end of the connector, so you can actually connect more than one device to the same OBD port. And as for the power, so you have to disconnect the power original one from the car first, and then connect the power pass-through from the commander, and then connect the power from the car back onto the harness for the commander. Alright, so now it's all connected here. Next, I would have to connect the commander to this connector right here. Last but not least, just have to connect the commander to the wire harness and OBD. As you can see, it's blinking green. That means it's connected. Now we just have to put all the panels back in place. Now that the commander is installed, now let's install the display, which is the easier part of the installation. So first you would have to connect or mount the display on the base. So it's magnetic, you can remove it anytime. So first mount it on first, and then use the Allen key that came in the package to tighten down and lock the display in place. But first find the right angle for you. So as I mentioned before, if you are mounting it on the dash closer to the windshield, make sure it's angled a little lower like this. But if you are mounting in front of the steering wheel, you would have to angle it up. So we are going to test both positions today. So first let's install the dash first. So I angle it about this high, as you can see here, and then use the key, the Allen key that came in the package, to lock it in place to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Then you can use the small cap to cover the screw hole right here. So it has a little mark, I'm not sure you can see it right there, to mark that's the bottom of the cap, and then just close it down so it makes it nice and clean, as you can see there. Now we have to measure where do we want the display to be on the dash. So before we run the cable, I would try to measure it about right there. So somewhere in the middle, just make sure it's right in the middle of your steering wheel and steering wheel column here, and then measure it just the furthest close to the ambient lights as possible. And then we can lay down the wire that came in the package. This is basically just the power cable to power up the display, because the display will be connecting wirelessly to the commander via Bluetooth. Alright, now so I know where it's gonna sit. So when you do measure it, just leave it there and then remove the display, and then make sure to adjust your steering wheel a little bit. This is my POV, so make sure the steering wheel doesn't block your view of the display. Now we have to remove the display because it's quite heavy, as you can see, because otherwise it will keep tilting down, and then you can't really let the adhesive attach to the dash. So remove it first before you actually remove the adhesive cover, and then attach the base to the dash. Now let's use the wipe that came in the package to clean the surface first. Make sure there's no dust in between. Now that the surface is dry, we can remove the adhesive cover and then attach the base. Make sure it's straight. Make sure you pre-measure it straight to the steering wheel column, and then the base is also straight, and then you can just press it and hold it down for at least 30 seconds. Make sure it's well attached. I will leave it alone for a while, maybe 15 minutes, to let it stick well on the surface first before you actually attach the display again. Right, so now that the base sticks really well to the surface, we run the cable. So the cable goes underneath the base, and then you can connect the cable to the display on the bottom side. So the cable has this hook, like an L shape, so it doesn't show that much underneath the display, or at all actually. There you go. So you connect the cable and then just pull it back. Now we just attach the display on the base. This is how it looks. And now we have to run the cable alongside the ambient light. So the ambient light has this little space. Let me show you. See, the ambient light has this little gap inside because of the cable is flat, so you can easily manage the cable right into that space. If you have a little issue pushing it in, you can use the tool that came in the package and help pushing the cable in that space. As you can see from this angle, you can't really see the cable at all. Now we just have to run the cable on this side, and then goes underneath the steering wheel column, and then all along on this side of the center console, and then we just hide the cable in between this gap, and then we go all the way to the back of the center console. After you got the cable all the way back here, because again the plug, it's like an L shape, so you can just plug it into the rear center console USB-C ports. There are 2 ports, so just plug in to the closest one like so. So it's all flat. Now you can just manage the cable to hide it, so you can't really see the cable all the way from the front to the rear. As you can see, the display is powered. After it's powered, it would just automatically connect to your commander that we installed earlier. Alright, the installation is done. This is probably the easiest instrument cluster display I have ever installed before. It's usually, you know, with the new Model Y Juniper, you would have to run the cable, get the fishing cable to fish through everything through underneath the dashboard cover here to get to the display. But with this one, since it's out there on the dash, you can just easily hide the cable, round it around, go through the side of the center console, and then plug in the back of the center console, and it's done. It's wirelessly communicated with the commander, so you don't actually need the cable to route from the commander to the display. Alright, now let me show you what it looks like on the new Model Y Juniper. As you can see, the display looks really good, and it's really easy to install. As you can see in the video, it looks so much better than I thought, being, you know, up there on the dashboard. And I was thinking, oh, it's so far away, it might be too small for me to look at it and see all the information, but it's not at all. And I just have to adjust the steering wheel a little lower, so it's clear and right at my line of sight right here, and I can see everything very clear. And because it's a little further out, I can actually use the scroll wheel on the steering wheel to change the pages on the display. So I'm just gonna scroll up and down here, as you can see. So you have to scroll like this quickly, not one tap. One tap doesn't do anything, so you have to scroll a couple of them up and down to change the screen. So there are at the moment 5 different screens that you can customize. As you can see, you can even customize the Apple CarPlay to be as big as you want. So this is widescreen, and then you can even do the smallest. This is the smallest Apple CarPlay, and I think you can do a full screen Apple CarPlay too. We'll play with all the customization in a moment. Right now I just want to show you that you can control changing the pages from here on the steering wheel, now on your right hand side. With this display, it's fully customized, and you can add a lot of things on the display and remove a lot of things that you don't need. You can have, you know, all the gadgets up here, and anything that you need, like something like this, the glove box. To open the glove box, just touch the display, then the glove box will just open. And you can add a lot of shortcuts, like, you know, preheat the battery. If you are going to charge at the non-Tesla supercharger, you can manually preheat the battery, which is something you cannot do with the main display in the car. Alright, so I will show you all the customization, how to do it, and all configuration. I'm just gonna remove the display out here, so it's easier for me to show all of those functions. Here we go. So just remove it out from the base. As I mentioned before, the display is wirelessly connected to the commander, so I basically can place the display anywhere in the car. So it's this way it's easier to show you all the functions and all the graphic and what we can do on the display. As I mentioned before, this display is fully customizable. You can move stuff around on the display. This is the first display that you can actually customize the display however you like and however you want. But you usually have your all the warning lights here on the left hand side, and you have a speed limit on the right hand side. So when you do a full Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, then you have those information on both sides right here. So to customize the display, you can basically just press and hold, and then this screen will pop up. So basically just like your smartphone, you press and hold on the icons, then you can remove and change the position of the icon, same as the display. So here you can just take it away with this button on the top left, or you can change or customize with this button on the top right. So let's customize the gadgets. So you can pick two different gadgets here, two different design, sport or insane. So we go with, if I select the insane, then there's another customization that you can do. You can change the information right below the speedometer here to be different items. So right now it's regen. I can change to pedals, how many percent on the accelerator pedals, and then I can change to range, the range of the car, the current range, and battery percentage, again regen. So 4 different things that I can add and change information down here. Then I can just press OK, regen for now, and then OK. And I can do the same thing here. So if I select sport, same thing, I can change the information right below where the speedometer is. Battery percentage for now, I'm select the sport. One more thing here, so as you can see, different icons has different shape. One is the cube, and one is the rectangle, and one is a horizontal rectangle. So let's say we want to change this one, the range, to battery percentage, range, battery percentage, regen, pedals, speed, or the range in mouse. I can do that too. And let's say if I keep the range, I can select range. Not only that, I can change the layout. So 1 by 1 is basically a cube, and 1 by 2 it's vertical rectangle, and then 2 by 1 doesn't fit. So if the current layout doesn't fit, it will show you basically it doesn't fit. So I can change to, right now I can change it to a cube. Let's change back to a cube right there, and then just select OK, and it will change to the cube. So when I do change to the cube, then we have the extra space right here, which we can add something else there. So there are category on the left hand side that you can change to battery, kilowatt hours, degradation, and imbalance. So all of this information is something you cannot even find on the main display of the car, but you could see it on this display. So maybe I can change to buffer. So I select buffer and then cube, so we can have that here, even more information. So if I change this, let's change this to cube. Right now the navigation is just default address because they're still in development. As I mentioned before, this display is actually a pre-production, not quite pre-production, a prototypes. So a lot of functions are still not showing on the display, but of course when you do get the actual production display in, I believe, in February, then you'll get all the functions and even more extra functions in the future. So you can select. So basically what navigation is this one right here on your car. So when you are navigate somewhere, and it will show the battery percentage and how many miles, and how battery percentage when you get there, and then the destination. So you basically can see that information on this display. You don't have to look down on the main display. This is something that I have never seen on the aftermarket display before, so it is something new. And then we can do a combination. So we can do a front motor, rear motor, battery, inlet, temperature, all that technical information. If you want on the display, you could do that too. And then media. So media is basically whatever playing, the song that is currently playing in your car. And then the warnings. So we could have a warnings. Let's see, if we change the warnings, then it will have the warning here again. Also the warning, I don't think the warning is functional at the moment. Let me see, it's done. See, it's not quite functional at the moment. But of course, when the display is at the final stage, it will show all the information. And there are 3 sub menus on this side. So we have gauges, navigation, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, media up here, and then we have actions. Actions meaning all the shortcuts that you want to add. So if I want to add any shortcuts on this display, I can add on any page that I want. There are 5 different pages that you can do, that you can change. You can have open and close, so all of these open and closes in the car that you can do. You can do drive, acceleration is really useful. Toggle 10%, 100%, I mean 0%, 100%, 25%. This is all the region. And then stopping mode. And charging, you can preheat the battery or charging port, open and close charging port. Mirrors, you can dim the mirrors, fold the mirrors, and then tilt the mirrors. So you can do all of that functions on this display too. Heated seat, all the front passenger, left, right, and then cooling seat with this new Model Y Juniper, you can do that too. And then seat adjustment for a passenger. So this is something new to the 60 knob. Before, now you can actually do that on the display. So the passenger seat, now you can pre-adjust the position that you like for different person. So let's say my wife sit on number 1, and then I can just pre-adjust her position. And then my daughter wants to sit in the front, then I can just preset to number 2 for her. So when she sit, I can just press number 2, and then the seat will go to her position, which is really cool functions here. The climate control, you can control all of that in this category here. Lights, traction control, you can do all rear-wheel drive only, front-wheel drive only, drift pro, off-road, and sleep start. This is something that you can even adjust on the main display of the Tesla, which is pretty awesome. And the next one is locked and unlocked. So you can lock and unlock the car, and you can do a silent lock. That's something new. Others, you can have a parking brake, hand wash, interior lights, light strip, and thank you meaning you do flash the headlights or the high beam, and then track mode and stacks. So this one is basically showing all the information in the car. There's no action. So all the actions are all the shortcut buttons that you can actually press on the display, and it will do whatever you want it to do. Let's go back. Was it on media? I think. Oh, I think navigation. There you go. So we had a media already. So when you do already have something that is will duplicate, then it will warn you that is duplicate. And when you're done, just select done, and that's it. So as I mentioned before, you can use the scroll wheel on the steering wheel to flip the pages, or you can just do it by hand with your fingers. So each display, each layout you can change quite a bit. So this one is Apple CarPlay. So this is a widescreen Apple CarPlay. Let me see if we can change to a full screen. There you go. So an Apple CarPlay on the home screen. There you go. And then you just select. This is the smallest one. It's 2x2. And then we can do 3x2. And we can do 4x2. Wow, three different three options now. And you can do 5x2. This one cannot fit. You can do 5x2. Let's try 5x2. This is almost the biggest one. 6x2 is the biggest layout that you can use on the Apple CarPlay, but it does not fit, so we have to delete those icons. So this is the biggest one. If you have these two, meaning you have to delete them. So if we delete these two, 1, 2, it's gone. Now instead of adding 2 more, we can actually change this to the biggest options, right? 6x2. There you go. So this, you can do a full screen. Select OK, then we'll have a full screen Apple CarPlay. But with the full screen Apple CarPlay, usually when you do have the instrument cluster display with the Apple CarPlay function, with a full screen, you will lose all the car information, but not with this one. With the full screen Apple CarPlay, you still have the speedometer, the small one right here on the side, warning lights here, and then more information on the right hand side. So I'll keep this one with the full screen so we can test it out. So now let's change this one to a bigger size Apple CarPlay. Right now it's the medium size, but in order to make it bigger, we have to remove some of the gadgets here. Now we can change that and then select to a, does it fit? Yeah, this size will fit. So now we have a big size Apple CarPlay and a big size speedometer right here. So that's something I would want. So when you click done, you have this one on the side, and then we have, of course, we have a full screen Apple CarPlay still. And now this is all the car status. I'll keep that as it is, and then we have full screen Apple CarPlay. But we have, so we have some cool display with some shortcuts here, preheat, the battery percentage. Let me change this one real quick. Let me change to another shortcut. Action. Glove box, that is always really useful. Done. Let me see if I can actually move it around. So if I don't want to be on this side, can I move it around? Page edit. Okay, there you go. So you can move it around. You can change the page, add the page, arrange page position. You can move the page around. You can duplicate the page, so there are a lot of adjusting with the page too, which is pretty cool. Back, we are done. Alright, so I think I'm happy with the current pages that I have. There you go. So we have sport, speedometer, and insane. So we have 2 different ones, so we can see the difference now. And then of course the Apple CarPlay with this one, and the full screen Apple CarPlay, and then all the status. You see the full screen Apple CarPlay again. There you go. Alright, so yeah, this is really, really cool. This is something that I have not seen before. Of course, coming from Enhance, they always let you customize your own configuration and your own preparation, how you like, your button to do, how you like your display to look. And just like, you know, the 60 knob that I have right here with me, now you can do exactly the same thing with the display. Really cool. Alright, now we saw all the functions and options that you can add and edit on this awesome 60 dash. There is also a main setting for the display. So touch outside of this area and you see this icon, and then you'll go to control setting, Bluetooth, and then system details. And we can go back to the main display. Alright, before we go on test it, I forgot to mention one thing. When you connect to Apple CarPlay, you just have to go to your Bluetooth setting and then just connect to this one right here, and then you just connect, and then we'll just connect to the display Apple CarPlay. And you can also output the sounds from the Apple CarPlay on the display to your car speaker. So basically you just have to swipe up on the top right hand corner and then just select here, make sure it's connected to your car, and then in your car function options, audio, select the input from Bluetooth, which is basically your phone and the Apple CarPlay on the display, and then just select to play. So yeah, that's really easy to do a setup to output any sound, not just the music. For the navigation voice, you can output that to the car speaker too. Alright, let's go and test it out. This is my line of sight, just right there, right above the steering wheel, so I can see really clear on the display. So when the car on the brake, or you press on the brake, then you see that red light on the bottom, and when you do use the turn signals, you will see that turn signal on the left and the right side. And this display should have a blind spot warning too, which is pretty awesome. Again, I can use the scroll wheel to scroll and change the layout on the display however I want it. Alright, so I will use the full self-driving in this video, so it's safer for me to shoot the video, and I'll try to keep my eyes in front of me so it doesn't give me warning. So when you engage the autopilot or full self-driving, the display will change to blue right in the middle, as you can see there, and then there's like a blue icon on the right hand side. And this is with the sport mode on in the car. It's showing the sport mode right in the middle of the display there. I'm not doing this view because sometimes it doesn't focus on the display, so I'll just have to go a little closer so we can focus, so the camera can focus more on the display. I actually really like the display, sits right on the dash. The reason being is that so it doesn't block my AC at all in front of me right here. It's clear, but I can still see a lot of information on the display. And as I mentioned before, I can add or remove any information that I need or I don't need. So let's see right now. Let me change to the biggest Apple CarPlay mode. So you still have your speed right here. Right now it's not accurate speed because again, as I mentioned before, this is a prototype, but the final one, of course, I will show you the speed, your speedometer right here, and the gear selection, and the autopilot function status, and your warning lights on this left hand side. I can use any of this app on the Apple CarPlay. Let's say the Google Maps. So I have this big Google Map right in front of me, and it also show the autopilot or FSD warning if I don't look in the front of me right now. I try to look at the camera and of course in front of the car. As I mentioned before, this display has the blind spot warning. You can see the orange tab showing on the left hand side as that car passes us. So if there's a car right next to me, this one right here, we're gonna pass it, and then I will turn on the signal. So right now it's in blind spot, would be like an orange yellow, and if I turn on the signals, then it'll be green and orange. So the orange is still there if that car, as long as the car is in our blind spot. Again, the car is in our blind spot, turn on the light. So the final product should have a red tab instead of green when the car is in blind spot, and then you turn on the signal to give you a warning that do not change the lane. Otherwise, again, this is a prototype, one of the few first prototype, so I can test it out and show it with you guys and demo it with you guys. Even the speedometer right now is not quite syncing with the car just yet. I'm 100% sure that it will be fixed and synced with the car for the final products. They're still like almost 4 months away from releasing the product, so that's why they're sending out all of these prototypes for us to test, so we can give them the feedback back to them to actually even make it better before they release the actual final product on their website. But so far I love the the function, how it looks, where it sits. This is probably the first display that actually let you choose where you want to place the display, either on the dash like this or in front of the steering wheel too. I really like the dash function. So it looks really similar to the real actual HUD unit. So it doesn't block my windshield at all. As you can see here, looks really good, and I think it's big enough that I can see everything. I hope maybe they can adjust the size of the speedometer to be a little bit bigger, maybe increase like 40%, at least maybe 30% bigger than it is right now. So for some people that have issue looking a little further out, can see the speedometer a little bit better. I'll definitely give this feedback back to them, or even if they can actually let us customize the size of the speedometer, would be even better. So you can actually choose however you like how big the speedometer be on your display. I love the full screen Apple CarPlay on this display. So even though the display sits way out there, I still can see really clear the directions and everything on the Apple CarPlay. So since I was able to customize all the pages, I will usually have one page for a full Apple CarPlay when I need to use the Apple CarPlay. And this is what the display looks like at night. As you can see, you have the blind spot warning and the turn signal at the same time right now. And we are on autopilot. And one thing I realized with the display placing on the dashboard is that because it's right in front of the windshield, which I will see it first. Every time when you drive the car, you have to look out in the front, so I cannot miss it. So I would less likely to come back to this display to see the speedometer and some status that I don't need. My eyes always keep right in front of me and looking at the display. And here is Apple CarPlay function. So when the night mode kicks in the car, the Apple CarPlay also changed to the night mode background, so it's not too bright. I like the brightness of the display. It's really close to the main car. It's brighter, of course, with the Apple CarPlay functions on, but without the Apple CarPlay function. I think it's really close to the main display of Tesla. Now let's try to move the display from the dash to the front of the steering wheel. It's easier to detach the base with the display on, so the weight of the display will help detaching it. Because we just basically installed it for a day, so it should be easier to remove it. It's still sticky enough to stick on the new surface right here, right on the panel in front of the air vent right here. Make sure it's right in the middle of the steering wheel again, and this is what it looks like. And hiding the wiring on this one, it's a little trickier because you would have to remove the dashboard cover and then remove this panel right here. Then we have to fish the wiring through this panel and then come down the same way, go back, and then plug in the back of the center console, and that's it. In this case, I didn't do all the way. I just push it in here and then it goes here. We're just gonna test it anyway. So it is closer to look at it, so you can see a lot of things bigger now. And of course, since the display is right in front of the air vent, you lose most of the airflow because the display blocking it, and it will push the airflow right below the display. You still get some of the airflow, but you cannot adjust it to be right in front of your face. So this way, I think the dash on the top is much better if you're concerned about the airflow, and everything else still functions the same. You just need to make sure to angle the display up a little bit. I think this position looks really good too, fits really well with the interior of the car. But again, as I mentioned before, it blocks the AC. I'm getting the AC a lot right now to my leg, not so much in the front, because pushing the AC down right here below the display, and some owner might prefer something a little further out from the main display, so they don't usually go back and see the speedometer, especially when you drive on the main display instead of this one. But I love the look of this one though. Looks really nice. Let me know which one would you prefer, which position would you prefer, this or the one on the dash. As you can see in the video, the display looks really good, both nighttime and daytime, and it works well with both locations, with on top of the dash, just like the HUD unit, or you can put it right in front of the steering wheel too. I forgot to mention one more future function that they will embed into the display before they release the product in February. That is the interaction with other enhanced products like the 60 knob. So when you try to use the knob while you drive the car, instead of looking down the knob to see what function that you need to use, you can just see right on the display, and then you can use the functions that you want to use on the display instead of looking back down on the knob. That would be really cool interaction functions with different products within enhanced brands. As I mentioned before, this is a really early prototype unit, but it works really great. I love all the customization functions that you can change, adjust however you like on the display. This is the first display that let the user or the car owner do that. Not only the customization on the display, you can actually add the action or shortcuts on the display too. So you can control a lot of things in the car with this display, just like the rest of sexy products or enhanced products. Let me know in the comment down below what you think about this new sexy dash from Enhance. I'll make sure to put the link of this product in the description below, and this product will be available in February next year. So Enhance still have almost 4 months to finalize the products with all the functions. I'm sure everything that we saw in the video today, some of the bugs will be fixed, and they will even add more functions to this display. Thank you so much guys for watching today's video. Make sure to click like if you like the video. Make sure to subscribe for more awesome contents like this. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.
Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good. Fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts. I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong. I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth. Can't prove it.